Well guys, I decided to do a little project here. I've had this motherboard laying around for a while, and it's had a problem with the video chipset on the motherboard. It's a very common problem with computers that had the NVIDIA 6200 or 6100 LE chipsets, because they weren't real well cooled. They had tiny little heat sinks, and they got too hot, and the chipset got cracks in the solder, and then the motherboard wouldn't post anymore, or it wouldn't work. And I got this computer for free that this one came in, and its issue that it would have is it either wouldn't post at all, or if you got it to post, it would work fine while it was on, but if you shut it down and you let it cool off and you go to start it back up again, it took about 30 different tries to get the thing to post. And you know, I just kind of stuck this thing in my closet, didn't pay any attention to it, and then I had heard about a lot of people reflowing the boards by baking them in the oven, of which I just did. And I'm just letting the board cool now. It's still fairly warm. It's not real hot. I'm not going to touch it yet. And we're going to see if we can bring this computer back to life. The heatsink that I took off of this thing, I don't have it with me at the moment, but the heatsink that I took off of this thing had the really crappy factory paste, real tiny. And this thing, I remember using a temperature monitor and not even doing anything, just sitting around browsing the web. You'd see this thing up to 60-ish Celsius, which is really warm for a video chipset to be, because there was no fan on this. And after I put a fan on this thing, I just kind of modded one onto it, a little tiny one that ran off a 6-pin Molex. Temps dropped about 20 Celsius to maybe 40-ish watching YouTube videos. But the damage had already been done, and it was already having issues. But I'm going to let that motherboard cool and see where things go from there. Alrighty, so I got most of the stuff back on the motherboard. Don't have the CPU in yet, that's still sitting over there. CMOS battery, got 1 gig of RAM installed, got the bracket for the CPU cooler installed, got the North Bridge, or is it North South Bridge, I can't remember. The video chipset heatsink reinstalled, and I went ahead and took off the old cruddy thermal paste that they had on there. It was actually the pink bubblegum thermal tape, whatever they used to use, and that shit was hard as a rock. So I have a feeling that's why this thing overheated. And I installed, or put on, a dab of Arctic Silver 5, so I'm hoping that'll help heat transfer a bit. I'm going to rig up this severely murdered little fan and screw it kind of like halfway onto this thing to help give it some airflow. And then we got an 80 gig Samsung spin point hard drive, and the original multi-card reader that's going to go back in here, and an old case fan. For the power supply, have a 2001 Dell 250 watt unit. That's probably not quite 250 watts, and well, it might be. They used to overbuild their units, so they're actually a bit more than what they said they were. This was probably closer to a 300 watt unit when it was new. But this unit has been in operation for a good, let's see, the computer we bought it in, that it came in 2001 unit, and we stopped using it probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and then this thing's been swapped around, went to my file server, many different computers. So pretty much since it was new, it's been in operation its entire life, and for 7 of those years it was never shut down. It was run 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, unless the computer needed a reboot while doing updates. That was it. So this thing is pretty old, but I took it apart, opened it up, and blew it out, made sure there's no dust in it. And you know, you honestly wouldn't know that this thing's been in operation for all of its life. It looks brand spanking new inside, which is why I love Dell's units. They make the best power supplies. This thing weighs probably close to 5 pounds, 5 or 6 pounds. It is a heavy power supply. It has got gigantic heat sinks, filter caps, everything. This is a very high quality unit. And this is what we'll be using in this case. It's what it originally came with. But yeah, so let me get this put all together and then we will continue on from there. Alrighty guys, well I got it back together, and with a complete lack of cable management whatsoever, or carrying for that matter. Got the kind of redneck rigged up fan on the video chipset heatsink there. Everything seems to be good. It's got 1 gig of DDR2 RAM, and putting this all together was only a one mellow yellow job, so it wasn't very hard. And I drink pop like crazy. Honestly though, if you do something like this, as far as baking the motherboard and getting some random cottage, go into it not expecting it to work at all. I honestly expect this to have done nothing, because honestly from the day I got this thing, it's just never been right. But I guess we can do this and see how it goes. That's what the front of it looks like. It's a Compaq Presario SR173-8 and X. It was designed for Windows XP. It has the Radeon Express 200M chipset. This motherboard is slightly different than the one that was in here. This one has the freaking dog choking over there and something. But this one has the NVIDIA 6150 LE chipset and not the 200M. Other than that, they are the exact same board. In fact, I will show you the other board that came with this thing as soon as we get the kitty off of the counter. Come on, down you fatso. Such a tub of lard there. But yeah, I will show you the motherboard that originally came into this thing, with this thing, which is right here. Let's go back out here. The motherboard that originally came with this was in operation for 3-ish years, I think, but it has died due to lack of maintenance, a lot of dirt, and a lot of blown capacitors. That one, that one, that one. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about 8 or 9 blown caps on this board. It had the AMD Athlon 64. I can't even show or tell you what type of CPU this actually is, except for it's the AMD Athlon 64 that came with this, because AMD has a habit of not putting all of the information on the processor like freaking Intel does. But yeah, so that's the motherboard that originally came in this thing. and autofocus isn't working worth a shit. But yeah, it used to be a decent board. Well, back in the day anyway. But yeah, let's get this thing hooked up and see if it does anything at all. But I wanted it mostly because of the multi-card reader, the FireWire, and the USB. I'm going to use this as my new video editing rig, so I could just take the SD card out of the camera, stuff it into that thing, and edit and render my videos, make it nice and easy. But yeah, alright, let's do this. Well guys, I got her all hooked up all together. I ended up not being able to use the fan that was on the heatsink for the video chipset because the freaking the ground wire was gone, and I just didn't trust the way it was wired up. I didn't want to fry that power supply or do anything bad. I have not powered this on yet. I have no idea whether or not it's going to work. I am honestly expecting a 70% chance of absolutely nothing. But yeah, here's hoping. If it does work, yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm going to use it for, except for some video editing maybe. But the CPU in it's pretty crappy. I think it's an AMD Athlon 3500 Plus, 2.2 gigahertz single core, and it's got 1 gig of DDR2 RAM. I do have two 512 meg sticks, so I could make it 2 gigs. But I don't know if I really want to. If it works with 1 gig, I might just leave it at that, just because the damn thing would work, and that's all I care about. But let's power it on and see what happens. Holy shit, we have video. I highly doubt it's gonna boot because there was XP on the hard drive I put in here, and it came out of this Dell Optiplex GX150. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, but it friggin' works, and it's a pretty silent system. You know, CPU fan's barely spinning. Power supply's pulling air. Case fan's good. A little bit of warmth. I'm hoping that helps lower the temperatures, because I put that Arctic Silver on the video chipset, but I'm going to go. The other thing I'm sad about is I couldn't find the back plate to this motherboard, because I've had so many of these motherboards and my back plates are just all over the place and I couldn't find it. But I'm going to go put the side on this thing, and we're going to start the Windows 7 install. Shut it down and talk to you guys in a minute. Well guys, it's up and running, and she's running Windows 7, no issues, no video errors, no reboot problems, nothing. It is working nice. I haven't run the Windows Experience Index on it, just letting it do its Windows updates right now, get most of the drivers installed. It automatically detected the video driver, the audio driver. I am going to add more RAM to it, the other gig, because it is not the slowest thing I've ever used, but on 1 gig it could most definitely use a bit of a kick in the RAM department. But it's running nice. I want to get a hardware monitor to check that video chipset temp, but Windows is, well, when it decides it wants to show me, Windows Update right now is eating like almost all of the RAM, I'm pretty sure. Go to gadgets. So right now it's pretty slow. I never really wondered how Windows 7 could run on a gig of RAM. I mean, there's freaking Acer netbooks and things have a gig of RAM in them, and they have Windows 7 on them. I think it's the light version of Windows 7, like Windows 7 Starter or some bull crap. This is Windows 7 Home Premium 64-bit. And yeah, see, it's using about 64 63% of the RAM right now, and that's due to the Windows update is using like 300 or so megs of RAM. It's just chewing it up. Oh, 71% because I opened up that. But it's up, it's going. Repair successful, fully functioning desktop. All the front USB works, front audio works. When I insert an SD card into here, the green light comes on for the SD card, but I think I need the drivers for it because nothing happens. I got a lot of Windows updates to install, so I will get all this going, edit this video up, and get it to frig up to YouTube. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, comment. If you didn't, you can dislike it, whatever. Tell me why you didn't like it, but honestly it doesn't really matter to me. So yeah, alright, I will talk to you guys later. Alright guys, I just wanted to add one more quick thing, and that is that I am much happier with the temperatures now. The where it used to be running about 60 Celsius is now 40 Celsius. Everything is 40 Celsius, 31, 32, 39. The case fan's running at 911 RPM. The CPU fan at 1400. It is an AMD Athlon 64 3500 Plus. That's running 36 Celsius. And the hard drive is 31. So, and I don't even have a fan on that video chipset. It's just a little tiny heatsink, and we're running 40 Celsius or 104 Fahrenheit, which is a hell of a lot better than what it used to be. It used to be in the 60s or 70s, just doing that. So yeah, we're just getting Windows updates installed, and it should be golden. But alright guys, I'll talk to you later.